So this will be a full learner's license test comprising of 68 questions, which is the exact same amount that you will be experiencing in your real learner's license test. As always, I give you guys the latest testimonials, as you may be wondering whether these videos were actually helpful and whether these questions are real. So I will be skipping through them. I will not be reading them. I want you guys to actually pause the video and read each and every single one of them, as that will give you an indication whether you can trust these videos or not, right? So let's start now. We will be starting with rules of the road, as that is the first section in your test. Question 1. What should you immediately do if you have an accident? Is it A, stop your vehicle immediately, B, phone your boss and let him know immediately, or C, have an alcoholic drink to recover from the shock? Now, you cannot have an alcoholic drink, as that will just lead to more problems, right? You don't need to phone your boss, as he has nothing to do with this accident. So the correct answer will be A, stop your vehicle immediately. Question 2. What should you do in the event of someone being killed during the accident? Is it A, call the emergency services, B, call your insurance company, or C, drive away? Now, you cannot drive away irrespective of whether someone has been killed or not. So that cannot be your answer. B, phone your insurance company. Now, you don't have to phone your insurance company immediately, right? Especially if someone has been killed. The first thing that you have to do is call the emergency services. Therefore, the correct answer will be A. Question 3. Are you allowed to drive in a manner that will disregard the safety of the other road users as well as your own safety? Is it A, you can only do this on weekends, B, yes, you can drive your car however you want to, or is it C, no, as it will put you and other road users in danger? So you are not allowed to drive recklessly, whether it is on a weekday or weekend. So automatically option A will be taken out, right? Option B, yes, you can drive your car however you want to. No, you cannot drive your car however you want to, right? You have to take into consideration that there are other road users and you have to drive diligently and responsibly. So the correct answer will be option C, no, as it will put you and other road users in danger. Question 4. What is the blood alcohol limit for professional drivers? Now read the question very carefully, because you can easily mix this up with a normal driver, right? So is it option A, 0.20 grams per 100 milliliters of blood? Is it B, 0.02 grams per 100 milliliters of blood? Or is it C, 0.05 grams per 100 milliliters of blood? Now, in the case of a professional driver, the correct answer will be B, 0.02 grams per 100 milliliters of blood or more. Question 5. What will the speed limit on a freeway be? Is it 250 km an hour? Now that's way too high, so that cannot be your answer. Is it B, 100 km an hour? Or is it C, 120 km an hour? Now they're asking for the general speed limit. Therefore, the correct answer will be option C. Question 6. Will a 4-ton truck be allowed on a freeway? Is it yes, no, or only at night? Now, during the day and at night, there are trucks that weigh more than 4 tons on our road. Therefore, the correct answer will be A. 4-ton trucks are allowed on freeways. Question 7. If a traffic officer instructs you to stop on a freeway, what should you do? Is it A, you can only stop if a traffic sign instructs you to do so, B, carry on driving, or C, stop your vehicle? Now, if a traffic sign instructs you to do something and a traffic officer instructs you to do the exact opposite, you have to follow the traffic officer's rule and ignore that sign and do exactly as they say. Therefore, if they instruct you to stop on a freeway, you have to stop your vehicle, and option C will be your answer. Question 8. Are you allowed to tow a vehicle on a public road if the length of the tow rope is less than 1 meter? Is it A, no, the length has to be 3.5 meters? Is it B, yes, or is it C, only if you drive a sedan? Now your tow rope has to be a certain length, and less than 1 meter is way too short. Therefore, the correct answer will be A, no, the length has to be 3.5 meters. Question 9. Are elderly people exempt from using a seatbelt? Is it yes, no, or only if they are over 65? Now, whether you are 14, 65, or 90, you have to use a seatbelt, right? Nobody is exempt from using this. So the correct answer will be no. Question 10. Are you allowed to stop on the freeway and reverse if you miss an exit? Now, this is something extremely dangerous, right? Can you imagine if you are reversing and there are vehicles coming behind you at a high speed? There's going to be a very bad accident there. So is it A, yes, B, no, or C, only if you miss the exit by 10 meters? Correct answer will be no, you are not allowed to do this. Question 11. Are you allowed to stop and pick up hitchhikers on the freeway? Is it A, yes, B, no, or C, only if it's the weekend? There's no such thing as stopping on a freeway to pick up hitchhikers. Therefore, the correct answer will be no. Question 12. What color background does the guidance and information sign have? Is it green or brown, purple or white? Correct answer will be option A, green or brown. Question 13. Should your hooter be audible for 90 meters or 100 meters? Is it A, 90 meters, B, 100 meters, or is it C, the correct distance is 25 meters? Now, the correct distance, right, that your hooter should be audible for is 90 meters. So your correct answer will be option A. Question 14. What is the maximum length that a bus may be? Is it 10 meters, 3 meters, or 22 meters? The correct answer for this will be C, 22 meters. Question 15. If the GMV of a trailer, which is not a semi-trailer, is less than 12,000 kilograms, then the height should not go above. Is it A, 5 meters, B, 3 meters, or is it C, 8 meters? Now the correct answer will be the highest of these three, which will be C, 8 meters. Question 16. If the GMV of a trailer, which is not a semi-trailer, is more than 12,000 kgs, then the height should not go above. Is it A, 12.5 meters, B, 3 meters, or C, 11 meters? Now again, it will be the highest of the three, which is option A. Question 17. What can the maximum height of a double-deck bus be? Is it 2.5 meters, is it 3.5 meters, or is it 4.65 meters? Now just imagine a double-deck bus in your head. Those buses are quite high. Therefore, it will be the highest option from the three. So it will be option C. Question 18. What can the maximum height of any other vehicle be? So they are saying what is the maximum height of any other vehicle besides a double-deck bus, right? Is it A, 4.3 meters, B, 3.4 meters, or is it C, 4.65 meters? Now the correct answer here will be 4.3 meters. Question 19. What can the maximum width of a bus be? Is it 2 meters, 2.6 meters, or 1.75 meters? Correct answer will be 2.6 meters. Question 20. Is it compulsory for all vehicles to have a service brake and a parking brake? Is it A, yes, B, no, or C, it is only compulsory on trucks? Now what is a service brake? A service brake is your normal brake that you use to slow the vehicle down, and your parking brake is your handbrake that you may use to prevent your vehicle from rolling once you have exited the vehicle. People who drive older vehicles also use these handbrakes for incline takeoff, right? That's one of the driving maneuvers that you're going to have to do for your driver's license, right? Your incline takeoff. So the correct answer will be A. Question 21. Your vehicle will not be allowed on a public road if A, it does not have an efficient exhaust silencer, B, if it does not have chrome mags, or C, if it does not have a panoramic sunroof. Now we know there's cars on the road without a panoramic sunroof, and we know there are cars on the road that do not have chrome mags. Therefore, the correct answer will be A, if it does not have an efficient exhaust silencer. Question 22. What should your vehicle be fitted with? Is it A, a sound system, B, carbon fiber parts, or is it C, the rear of the vehicle must be fitted with 2 retro reflectors? Correct answer will be C. Question 23. What should a load that projects more than 150 millimeters to the side or more than 300 millimeters to the rear be marked by? Is it a red flag during the day? Is it a purple triangle? Or is it a yellow flag at night? Correct answer will be a red flag during the day. Question 24. What should you always do when driving on a public road? Is it A, have your radio off when driving, B, drive beyond the yellow line on freeways, or is it C, have consideration for other road users? So right away we can already see the option C is the answer, because you can drive with whether it is with your radio on or off. You are allowed to do that. And option B is drive beyond the yellow line on freeways. Now that's not allowed. You're not allowed to drive beyond this line. This line is purely there for if your car breaks down on the freeway, you're allowed to park your vehicle on the other side of that yellow line, right? So the correct answer will be option C. Question 25. You should not drive. Is it A, while intoxicated, B, recklessly, or C, both of the above? Correct answer will be C. You are not allowed to drive recklessly on the roads, and you're not allowed to drive if you are intoxicated, whether it's by alcohol or drugs, right? Question 26. What are you not allowed to do when you are intoxicated? Is it A, drive over 90 km an hour? Is it B, make a U-turn? Or C, drive on a public road? You are not allowed to get behind the wheel of a vehicle if you are over the blood alcohol limit, right? So if you are drunk or intoxicated, you are not allowed to drive or even sit in a driver's seat of a vehicle, right? That's one of the laws in South Africa. Question 27. What are you not allowed to do on a public road? Is it spin the wheels of your vehicle, follow the rules of the road, or park in your friend's driveway? Now you are allowed to park in your friend's driveway and you have to follow the rules of the road. Therefore, the correct answer will be A. You are not allowed to spin the wheels of your vehicle. Question 28. What is the most important rule of the road? Is it A, always drive on the left side of the road? Is it B, always avoid potholes? Or is it C, drive with your fog lights on? Now we have said this before, you are not allowed to drive with your fog lights on. And as we know, there are potholes all over our roads in South Africa, but that is not the answer. The answer is A, you have to drive on the left side of the road. That is the most important rule of our roads, right? Question 29. What color warning lights does an ambulance have? Now, all of us have seen an ambulance before, and we know that it has red lights. So the correct answer will be A. Question 30. What color warning lights does a traffic officer's vehicle have? Is it A, red, B, blue, or is it C, green? Correct answer will be option B, blue. We are now at the second section, which will be road signs. Question 1. What does this sign mean? So there's a capital A and V with a blue background. So does this sign mean that only abnormal vehicles may drive here? B, only automatic vehicles may drive here? Or C, only hatchback vehicles may drive here? Now, the A and V stands for abnormal vehicles. So the correct answer will be option A, only abnormal vehicles may drive here. Question 2. What does this sign mean? Now we can see there's a taxi there with a blue background. So is it A, this lane is dedicated to police vehicles only? B, only taxis may drive here? Or C, only sedans may park here? Now clearly that is a taxi in that sign. Therefore the correct answer will be option B, only taxis may drive here. Question 3. What does this sign mean? Now there's a taxi there again. However, there's a red line going through the sign, so it is prohibiting something, right? Is it option A, taxis are not allowed past the sign? B, you are not allowed to ride a taxi? Or is it C, taxis are only allowed here on weekends? Now the correct answer will be A, taxis are not allowed past the sign. Question 4. What does this sign mean? Now we can see there's a bicycle there and there's a red line going through the sign. So it's prohibiting you from doing something else, right? It all depends on the image within that sign. So always look out for that. Is it A, you are not allowed to ride a bicycle at night? B, bicycles are not allowed past the sign? or C, you can only ride a bicycle at night? Now the correct answer will be option B. Bicycles are not allowed past the sign because there's no indication whether it's during the day or during the night. So we go for option B. Bicycles are not allowed at all, whether it's during the day or during the evening or at night or whatever. Question 5. What does this sign mean? Now we have three buses that occur on signs. We have your mini buses, midi buses, and your normal full length buses. So which one is this, right? Let's look at the options. Is it option A? Only midi buses can drive on this lane. This bus is a bit too long to be a midi bus. So is it A? Only mini buses can drive on this lane and it is way too big to be a mini bus. Therefore, it can only be option C. Only buses can drive on this lane. So the correct answer will be C. Question 6. What does this sign mean? Now, right away, we can see that there is an orange to a yellow background, and that indicates that this is a temporary sign and it won't be there forever, right? Again, there's a red line going through there and we can see someone is riding a horse. So is it A? No horse riding is allowed past the sign. Is it B? You may not ride horses during the day. Or is it C? You need to have a permit to ride a horse. Now the correct answer will in fact be option A. You are not allowed to ride a horse past that sign. Question 7. What does the sign mean? So we can see it says 12T with a yellow background. That means that it is a temporary sign. So is it A? Only yellow trucks are allowed here. B? Only 12 vehicles are allowed on this road. Or is it C? Vehicles exceeding 12 tons GVM are prohibited. So what is GVM? I have said this before. That stands for gross vehicle mass. So the correct answer here will in fact be option C. Vehicles exceeding 12 tons are prohibited. Question 8. What does this sign mean? Now we can see it says 6 tons and it is indicating or pointing towards an axle, right? So option A. If the vehicle's axle mass exceeds 6 tons, use another road not indicated by the sign. Is it option B? Only 6 vehicles are allowed on this road. Or is it option C? Vehicles must weigh over 6 tons to be a truck. Now the correct answer will in fact be A, as that is the only option that is speaking about axle mass, so that is the correct answer. Question 9. What does the sign mean? Now we are seeing a wave formation within that sign, and it is a triangle sign, so it is warning you about something, right? So is it A? The sign warns of an uneven road ahead. Is it B? There is a beach ahead. Or is it C? There are sand dunes ahead. Now, this has nothing to do with sand dunes, nor does it have anything to do with a beach. Therefore, the correct answer will be A. The sign warns of an uneven road ahead. Question 10. What does this sign mean? Now, it is clear that this is not as long as the previous bus we encountered, and it is not so small that it is a minibus, right? So it is in between the two. Therefore, it will be known as a midi bus. So is it option A? Only midi buses are allowed on this lane. Is it option B? Only mini buses are allowed on this lane. Or is it C? Only full-size buses are allowed on this lane. Now, the correct answer will be option A. Only midi buses are allowed on this lane. Question 11. What does the sign mean? We can see that there is a forklift there with a red line going through. So it is prohibiting something, right? Is it A? Only people with forklift permits are allowed here. B? Forklifts are not allowed past the sign. Or is it C? Only forklifts are allowed past the sign. Since it is a red line going through, the correct option will be option B. Forklifts are not allowed past the sign. Question 12. What does this sign mean? So it is an upside down triangle and it is a blank sign basically. Is it A? You have to increase your speed. B? The sign is empty. You don't have to do anything. Or is it C? You must yield and give way to other vehicles. The correct answer will indeed be option C. You have to yield and give way to other vehicles. Question 13. What does this sign mean? So there is a blue background and it says 50. So is it your minimum speed should be 50 k's an hour? Is it B? The speed limit is 50 k's an hour? Or is it option C? only 50 vehicles are allowed on this road. Now the correct option will be A. Your minimum speed should be 50 km an hour. 14. What does the sign mean? Now there is a S there and it is blocked by a red line. Now we know that red line prohibits things. So is it A, you are allowed to stop by the sign? B, you are not allowed to stop where you see the sign? Or is it C, you are only allowed to park beyond the sign? Now when you see the sign, you are not allowed to stop anywhere near there. Therefore the correct answer will be B. Question 15. What does this sign mean? Now there's 100 in that sign, right? There's a white background and a red outline there. So is it A, the speed limit is 100 km an hour? Option B, you must drive above 100 km an hour? Or C, only 100 vehicles are allowed on this road? Now that is obviously the speed limit. Therefore, the correct answer will be option A. Question 16. What does the sign mean? So we can see that there are two roads and they are both coming in right towards each other. Therefore, is it A, it warns that the road narrows from the left and right hand side? Is it B, it warns that the road narrows from the left hand side? Or is it C, it warns that the road narrows from the right hand side? Now the correct answer will be A. This sign will warn you that the road narrows from both the left and the right hand side. Question 17. What does this sign mean? So we can see there are there's an upside down triangle and there are three arrows there in a circular motion, right? So is it A, it warns you of a right turn ahead? Is it B, it warns you of a left turn ahead? Or is it C, it warns you of a roundabout ahead? The correct answer will be option C, it will warn you about a roundabout. Question 18. What does the sign mean? Now we can see there it is a wild animal there. So is it option A, it warns you of wild animals crossing ahead? Is it B, it warns you of a zoo ahead? Or is it C, you are not allowed to carry livestock? Correct answer will be A, it warns you of wild animals crossing the road. Question 19. What does this sign mean? Now this is one of the easiest signs that you will get. Obviously we can see that there is a pedestrian crossing there. So is it option A, it warns you of a pedestrian crossing ahead? Is it B, there is a school ahead? Or is it C, you are not allowed to cross the road in this area? Correct answer will be A. Question 20. What does this sign mean? So there's a triangle sign with a traffic light inside that sign. So it is warning you about something. Is it A, it warns you of a stop street ahead? Is it B, it warns you have the right of way? Or is it C, it warns you of a traffic light ahead? Correct answer will be C, it warns you of a traffic light. Question 21. What does this sign mean? Now we can see there's a hump there, right? So is it A, it warns you of a speed hump ahead? It warns you of an incline ahead? Or C, it warns you of a desert ahead? So the correct answer here will be A, it warns you of a speed bump ahead. Question 22. What does this sign mean? So we can see a temporary sign there. And we can see there's an animal pulling a cart. So is it A, it prohibits animal-drawn vehicles ahead? Is it B, no cattle are allowed ahead? Or is it C, you are not allowed to race animal-drawn vehicles? Correct answer will be A, it prohibits animal-drawn vehicles. Question 23. What does the sign mean? You can see a stop sign there. Is it A, you are supposed to stop before the stop sign? Is it B, you are not supposed to stop when you see the sign? Or is it C, you are supposed to stop after the stop sign? When you see the stop sign, obviously you have to stop before that sign. Therefore, the correct answer will be A. Question 24. What does this sign mean? Now we can see that there is a vehicle losing control there, and the sign is shaped in a triangle, so it is warning you about something. So is it A, you are allowed to drift ahead? Is it B, the road is slippery ahead? Or is it C, the road has debris ahead? Correct answer will be option B. The road ahead is slippery. Question 5. What does this sign mean? So we can see there is a worker there and he is doing some road works, right? And it is a temporary sign, which means it won't be there forever. It will be removed. So is it option A, there are temporary road works ahead? Is it option B, there's a new road surface ahead? Or is it C, you are not allowed to proceed? Correct answer will be A. Question 26. What does the sign mean? You can see a blue sign with a white arrow pointing towards the left direction. So is it A, you have to reverse, B, you must keep right, or C, you must keep left? Correct answer will be option C, you must keep left. Question 27. What does this sign mean? We can see a blue sign with a white arrow pointing towards the right direction. So this will be the opposite of the previous sign. Therefore, the answer will be option B, you must keep right. Question 28. What does this sign mean? We can see two arrows, one going forwards, one coming backwards. So is it A, there is two-way traffic ahead? Is it B, you have the right of way? Or is it C, there is an intersection ahead? Correct answer will indeed be A, there is two-way traffic ahead. Question 29. What does this sign mean? So on the left-hand side, we can see there's a straight line. And on the right-hand side, we can see a road which is turning towards the left-hand side and then going straight again. So is it A, there's only traffic on the left-hand side ahead? Is it B, the road narrows from the right-hand side? Or is it C, you have the right of way? Now the correct answer will be option B, the road narrows from the right-hand side. Question 30. What does this sign mean? You can see a warning sign with an aeroplane there. So is it A, there's a helipad ahead? Is it B, there's an air show ahead? Or is it C, there are low flying aircrafts ahead? Now the correct answer will be option C. We are now at vehicle controls, and these set of questions are based on an automatic vehicle. Therefore, there will be no clutch pedal. In the next video, I will indeed feature a manual vehicle, so there will be different questions to be answered, right? So question 1. Which instrument is used to look at vehicles behind you? Is it E, your rear view mirror? Is it B, your gear shifter? Or is it D, your brake pedal? Correct answer here will be E. So that will be option A. Question 2. What do you use to accelerate? Is it option A, G? So G will be your right-hand side mirror. Is it option B, C? C will be your accelerator. And option C is F, your left-hand side mirror. So you use your accelerator to increase your speed. Therefore, the correct answer will be option B. Question 3. What do you use to slow your vehicle down? Is it option A, D, your brake pedal? Is it option B, which is your rear view mirror? Or is it option C, which is your steering wheel? Obviously, it is your brake pedal. Therefore, option A will be your answer. Question 4. What do you use to turn your vehicle? Right? Is it option A, your rear view mirror? Is it option B, your gear knob? Or is it option C, A, which is your steering wheel? Correct answer will indeed be option C, your steering wheel. Question 5. What do you look at before you turn left? Is it option A, which is your rear view mirror? Is it option B, which is your left-hand side mirror? Or is it option C, which is your right-hand side mirror? Because the question is asking you about a left turn, the correct answer will be option B, your left-hand side mirror. Question 6. What do you look at before you turn right? Is it your option A, your rear view mirror? Option B, which is your left-hand side mirror? Or is it C, your right-hand side mirror? The correct answer will be option C. It is your right-hand side mirror. Question 7. What do you use to put your vehicle into drive? I have already said this is an automatic vehicle, therefore there won't be a clutch, right? Is it option A, which is B, your gear knob? Is it option B, which is your left-hand side mirror? Or is it option C, which is your accelerator? To put your vehicle, your automatic vehicle into drive, you will have to use your gear shifter, which will be option A. Question 8. To reverse your vehicle, you must use A, which is B, your gear knob and your accelerator. Or is it option B, F and G? F will be your left-hand side mirror and G will be your right-hand side mirror. Or is it option C, which will be your rear view mirror? Now, in order to reverse your vehicle, first you have to put the vehicle into reverse, which you will have to use your gear knob to do that. And then to get the vehicle to move, you will have to use your accelerator. So the correct option here will be option A. So how this will work is that I will be describing and I will be giving you more information about the road markings. And then I will be reading the information given on screen, right? So let us start with this. On the left-hand side, we can see, obviously, this gray color will represent the road, the tar. and then the white line is a solid white line. Now we'll be getting to what a solid white line means. However, you should know that for now, you don't ever go near those white lines, right? You don't stop your vehicle on that white line. So we can see it says stop in white writing there, and we can see a black arrow. Now, what does this black arrow mean? So the black arrow is basically showing you the direction of motion, right? There is no black arrow on the road, but I added it there so you can see the direction in which your vehicle will be traveling, right? So this is a stop line. You have to completely stop your vehicle before the solid white line, and you are only allowed to take off again once it is safe to do so. So what does that mean? It means that once you arrive at the stop sign, you have to stop before these white lines, right? You're not allowed to go on the white line, and you're not allowed to go past that white line and then stop. You have to stop before the white line. And then another thing is, when they say you are only allowed to take off again once it is safe to do so, that basically means that you can only take off once there are no other vehicles in the way, right? Let's say the other vehicle has moved past and now you have a clear path ahead of you. That is when it is safe to do so, and that is when you go, right? We will be going to the next sign, which will be the yield sign. Now, you can identify this with an upside down triangle, right? It is the outline of a triangle. Again, the black arrow is showing you the direction in which your vehicle will be moving. And this will have a broken up white line, right? So it says yield line. You need to slow down and give way to other road users. You don't need to come to a complete stop if there aren't other vehicles around. So this, in a way, will be treated like the stop sign. So your vehicle will approach this yield sign. If there are no other vehicles, there's no reason that you have to stop. You can just continue, right? Slow down a bit and then continue. However, if there are other vehicles around, let's say there's a vehicle in front of you, you have to stop your vehicle, right? So that is the difference. One, you have to completely stop, and one, you have to yield. So our next road marking will be a pedestrian crossing. Now we can see there are two separate lanes there, each going in a separate direction. One is going forward and the other one is coming in the opposite direction, right? And we can see two solid lines going completely across the road. So what does this mean? This is a pedestrian crossing, right? You have to give way to pedestrians that are either entering the pedestrian crossing or to those that are already on the pedestrian crossing. So what does that mean? That means if you are driving and you see people, they're already walking across the road, you have to stop your vehicle and allow them to pass. And if there are people that are about to enter this, you still have to pass. There's no such thing as they must wait and you have right of way. Okay? At any pedestrian crossing, the pedestrians have the right of way. So just remember that. Now we can see a different type of pedestrian crossing, right? This is still a pedestrian crossing. Now, again, we can see two different directions of motion of traffic. One is going forwards, the other one is coming backwards, right, in the other direction. However, we can see blocks, right? It's not like solid straight lines like the previous one. Here we can see broken up rectangular blocks. So this is a block pedestrian crossing. It's basically the same thing. It's just the design is different in a way. So here you have to give way to pedestrians that are either entering the pedestrian crossing or to those that are already on the pedestrian crossing. So it's exactly the same. You just have to remember there are two different styles that apply. So the next road surface marking will be a solid white line. Now you'll be driving and you will be going forward, and there will be a solid white line and another lane of traffic that's going in the opposite direction. So when you see the solid white line, your vehicle is not allowed to cross this white line, right? No parts of your vehicle may even touch the white line, right? Forget about crossing the white line. You're not even allowed to drive on top of this white line. So the only two times that you are indeed allowed to cross the line is, number one, if you have to access property on the other side. So let's say you are driving on the left-hand side of the road and your house is on the right-hand side of the road next to the other lane. That's the only time that you can cross that solid white line to get to your property. The second time that you may cross this line is to avoid a vehicle that is broken down on the road. Now, let's say you are driving forward and there's a vehicle that is broken down in front of you, and the only way to get around him is to cross this white line. That's the only time that you may cross it. So just remember these two conditions, as they are the only time that you may cross the solid white line. So now we go onto a solid white line, but the flow of traffic is different, right? In both lanes, the traffic is going in the same direction. They're not going in the opposite direction. So in this way, you are still not allowed to go onto the other lane. You both have to drive in your separate lanes, right? Your vehicle is not allowed to cross this lane, or this line, sorry. Now we see a yellow left line. You can see the arrow is pointing that you are driving ahead, and then we see a yellow line to the left. So here you are not allowed to drive over this yellow line. The only circumstance in which you can cross this line is when you allow another vehicle to overtake. Now remember, you are allowing another vehicle to overtake. You are not overtaking, right? So what does that mean? That means if you're driving on this road, you go a little bit towards the left, right, beyond that yellow line, and the person that is behind you will overtake you. So that's the only time that you're allowed to cross this. Another time that you are actually allowed, that's not shown on screen, is if your vehicle breaks down. You are allowed to stop your vehicle towards the left side of this line, but obviously not forever. You're not allowed to park here, right? Only if your vehicle breaks down. We then go on to a painted island. Now we can see this yellow line, and it is between two solid white lines. So you are not allowed to drive here on this marking, and you are not allowed to stop. So remember, you're not allowed to park here, you're not allowed to stop here, and you're not allowed to drive on top of this painted island. Now there are different types of islands. Some are larger than the other. As we can see that this is a slightly larger one, right? So you are not allowed to drive or stop on this marking. Just remember that. And we can see there's one arrow going forwards and there's another arrow in another lane going in the opposite direction. Now you're not allowed to drive or stop on this marking. Now we come across a parking bay. Now we can see in this road surface marking that there are white lines again, and there's another arrow. Now the arrow, we already know what that means. So you can see there's a border there, right? There's a rectangular space encompassed within these white lines. Now what does that mean? That basically outlines the area in which you are allowed to park your vehicle. So as you are driving, you see these two lines, you have to park your vehicle between those two. So it says here, you are only allowed to park within the white lines. That's basically self-explanatory. Just remember this. Sometimes you will see parking bays with letters on them. I will get to that in this video. So here it is, right? It is identified by a yellow line, like a circle going around the letter, and the letter will be a capital letter. So you may see capital letter A, capital letter F. I will be going through them. So this here in this road marking, you can see a capital letter A. So this parking is reserved for ambulances only. Remember the A, capital A, stands for ambulances, right? The next one will be capital letter B. Now B will stand for buses. So this parking bay is only reserved for buses. No other type of vehicle may be able to stop and park on this area, right? Now we can see a capital letter T. So T will obviously stand for taxis. Therefore, this parking bay is reserved for taxis only. Now you will see a capital letter F, right? This parking is reserved for firefighting vehicles only. So vehicles like your fire truck, your stuff like that, those are considered firefighting vehicles. Therefore, they're the only type of vehicles that will be allowed to stop on this parking bay. Now we can see two letters, right? It's not only one anymore. So we will see a capital letter M and a capital letter B that is within a yellow circle, right? The outline of a circle. So M and B will basically stand for minibuses. Therefore, this parking is reserved for minibuses only. Now we can see a capital letter D, right? We're back to one letter. So the capital letter D will stand for Defense Force. So this basically means that the parking is reserved for Defense Force vehicles only. We now go on to a capital letter P. So this parking will be reserved for police vehicles only. No one else is allowed to park there besides police vehicles. Now we see a capital letter R. So this parking will be reserved for rickshaws only. We see a capital letter L here. Again, it is within a yellow outline of a circle, right? So this parking spot is known as a loading zone. Now we see a parking bay with an icon of a wheelchair. So this will be a disabled person, right? This will be a parking reserved for disabled persons only. It will be exclusively for vehicles carrying disabled persons, right? No one else is allowed to park there. Now, a common misconception would be that elderly people that are over 65 or even 55, right? They will be able to park here. That is incorrect. The only people that are allowed to park here are disabled persons, right? It doesn't matter if you are elderly or not. You have to be disabled. Now we can come to a reserved lane. You can see it says bus, right? Written in yellow writing. And we can see a broken up yellow line. So that lane is specifically for buses, right? Taxis are not allowed there. Hatchbacks are not allowed there. SUVs are not allowed there. It is purely for buses. So this lane is reserved for buses only. No other vehicle may drive on this lane. Just remember that. We see a very similar marking. However, here it says tram rather than saying bus. So this lane is reserved for trams only. No other vehicle may drive on this lane. Now this is a little confusing as a lot of people may not understand what this sign means. Now we can see a sort of a diamond shape there, and that basically refers to hazardous goods vehicles, right? Let me read the information and then I will tell you what that is. So this lane is reserved for hazardous goods vehicles only. No other vehicle may drive on this lane. Now what is a hazardous goods vehicle? Think of a truck carrying fuel or a different type of gas. That is a hazardous goods vehicle, right? So they have a special lane in order to travel on. Now we can see a bicycle icon there. So this obviously means that the lane is reserved for bicycles only, right? No other vehicle may drive on this lane. Now this is a little confusing as well, because this is known as a box junction. So you are not allowed to stop on this box unless you're entering the road from the side to turn left or right. Now let's look at this carefully. You can see there's a road going forward, as there are two arrows, one indicating the forward direction and the other indicating the direction going the opposite direction, right? And now we can see another road that is entering this main road from the left. So if a vehicle approaches from the left-hand side, they are allowed to stop on this yellow box only if they are turning left or right. You are not allowed to go on that box and stop, right? That is reserved for them. So hopefully that will make it a lot easier to understand. And now we come to a solid red line. I think this is the first time we will be going over this. So you are not allowed to stop on this red line at all. Now remember, a red line is talking about stopping, right? A yellow line will be talking about parking. I will show you what I mean once we get to the next one and the one after that. Now we are talking about a broken red line. So you are not allowed to stop at this section during the time indicated on the road sign nearby. Now there will be a road sign there and it will give you a specific time of the day. And if it is during the time of day that you arrive here at this broken red line, you are not allowed to stop there, right? So always be on the lookout for this road sign when you see a broken red line. Now we come to a solid yellow line. So you are not allowed to park next to the yellow line at all. Now remember what I said. I said look at the red line, and the red line is referring to stopping a vehicle. You are not allowed to stop your vehicle. Your yellow line is talking about parking a vehicle. So that will be different, right? So when you see a solid yellow line, you're not allowed to park your vehicle next to this yellow line at all. Now we come to a broken yellow line. So you are not allowed to park here during the time indicated on the road sign. So again, there will be a road sign there with a specific time on the road sign. And if it is during the time that you see that road sign, then you are not allowed to park your vehicle near this broken yellow line, right? Now here we can see a motorcycle, right? However, there's a yellow line going through the sign. And I always tell you, if there's a line going through a sign, whether it is red or yellow, you are not allowed to do something. And obviously, because this is a road marking, motorcycles are not allowed beyond this point. So if you are riding a motorcycle and if you see this marking on the road, you are not allowed to ride past that sign, right? Past that marking, you are not allowed to do that. Obviously, you'll have to either take a different lane or you will have to turn around and go in the opposite direction. So just remember that. Now we see two white lines. However, they are crossing each other, right? So this means that there's a railway crossing ahead. Whenever you see the sign, as you can see, the arrow there is pointing towards the forwards direction. Now we see sort of an icon of an aeroplane, right? This will be on a certain lane. It may be on the left lane, on the right lane. It just depends. And this marking will give extra guidance to road users in respect to the direction of the airport. So if the airport is towards the left direction, this icon of an aeroplane will be on the left lane. Just remember that. This is actually quite confusing for your students learning your road markings and road signs. So this is actually an indication of an arrested bed ahead. Now you may be wondering what that is. I will tell you about that. Let's just go through how we identify this road markings. So we can see there are 3 sets with 3 squares in each. Sometimes there will be squares, sometimes there will be rectangles. And we can see they are either red or white. And this will indicate that there is an arrested bed ahead. Now you may be wondering what that is. So what is an arrested bed? An arrested bed is a specially designed area located on downhill sections of roads, typically for use by trucks experiencing brake failures or other emergencies. So if a truck is going downhill and if their brakes fail, this is there to slow down the speed, right? So these are areas filled with materials such as gravel or sand, which are intended to slow down or stop a vehicle that has lost control. So when a truck enters an arrested bed, the resistance of the material helps to bring the vehicle to a safe stop, preventing it from continuing down the slope and potentially causing a serious accident. Right, we have arrived at the questions. I have 15 questions for you guys. And one thing that I want you guys to do, if we get to a question and you don't understand what the marking means, go back to the video, watch it, and come back and answer it, right? So question 1, what should you do when you see this road marking? Now we can see there are 2 lanes, each going in a different direction, and we can see white rectangles, they're broken up rectangles, right? So automatically we can identify that this will be a pedestrian crossing, and we know what will happen if you arrive at a pedestrian crossing. So let's look at the options. Option A, only allow buses to pass. Option B, give way to pedestrians. Or option C, continue driving as you have the right of way. Now, obviously, you cannot continue driving as the pedestrians have the right of way, and there's no such thing as allow buses to pass. Therefore, the correct option will be option B, give way to pedestrians. Question 2. What are you not allowed to do when you see this road marking? Now, read the question very carefully because sometimes they can change it up. They're asking you what are you not allowed to do, right? So we can see a solid white line, and we can see two arrows going in opposite direction. That refers to two lanes going in opposite directions, right? So option A, let trams overtake you. Obviously, it doesn't mention anything about trams, so it cannot be option A. Is it B, always stay on the left side of the road? Obviously, that would be something that you have to do, but that's not something that you're not allowed to do, right? So is it option C, go over the solid white line? That is correct because you're not allowed to go over the solid white line. Read the question very carefully, otherwise it can catch you out. Question 3. Under which circumstances are you allowed to cross the line, right? Again, solid white line, two lanes going in opposite directions. So is it option A, if you live on the opposite side of the road? We know that's correct. Is it option B, if you are overtaking a broken vehicle? Again, that is correct. Or is it option C, both A and B are correct? Correct answer will indeed be option C. Both A and B are correct. Question 4. What type of vehicles are allowed to park here? Now we can see there's a yellow outline, circle outline, and there's a capital letter P. So we know P stands for a specific type of vehicle. So let's look at the options. Is it option A, police vehicles only? Is it B, purple vehicles? Or is it C, parameter vehicles? Now, P will only stand for police vehicles. Therefore, the correct answer will be option A. Question 5. What type of vehicles are allowed to park here? Now we can see a capital letter A, again within a yellow outline. So is it option A, all vehicles are allowed to park here? B, agricultural vehicles? Or C, ambulances only? So the correct answer will be option C, only ambulances are allowed to park here. Question 6. What are you supposed to do when you see this marking? There's an upside down triangle, right? And you are approaching this triangle. So what does that mean? Is it A, yield and give way to other vehicles? Is it B, increase your speed? Or is it C, come to a complete stop if there are no other vehicles around? Correct answer will be A. Question 7. Are you allowed to stop on this yellow box to park? Is it no? Is it yes? Or only on weekends? I have told you are not allowed to park on this yellow box. Therefore, the correct answer will be option A. Question 8. Which type of vehicles is this lane reserved for? Again, we're looking at a diamond shape there, and we know that is for hazardous goods vehicles only. So is it option A, jewelry vehicles? Is it option B, hazardous goods vehicles? Or is it C, hatchback vehicles? The correct answer will be option B. Question 9. Which vehicle is not allowed to pass this marking? We can see a motorcycle with a yellow line going through. It's prohibiting motorcycles only. So is it A, an SUV, B, sedans, or is it C, motorcycles? Obviously, since there is a motorcycle in the road marking, it will be option C. Question 10. Are you supposed to stop before the white line or after the white line? Is it option A, before? Is it option B, after? Or is it option C, there's no need to stop? Now, I have told you, if you see the stop sign with the white lines, you have to stop before the white lines. Therefore, your correct answer will be option A. 1 being, which of the following is true? A, the maximum height that your vehicle may not exceed is 4.3 meters. B, the weight of your vehicle may not be more than 4.3 tons. Or C, the value of your vehicle may not be more than 4.3 million rand. Now, the correct answer for this will be A, the maximum height that your vehicle may not exceed is 4.3 meters. As we know, there are vehicles on our road which are worth more than 4.3 million. And we know there are vehicles on our road that weigh more than 4.3 tons. Question 2. Can you stop on a freeway to have a drink? Is it no, yes, or only for 15 minutes? Now, we know that you are not allowed to stop to have a drink. In fact, you are not allowed to drink any alcohol while driving at all. So the correct answer will be A, no. Question 3. How long should the tow rope between two vehicles be? Is it A, less than 1 meter, B, 10 meters, or C, 2.5 meters? Now, the correct answer will be C, 2.5 meters. Question 4. Are you allowed to enter a public road if the road is obstructed ahead? Is it A, yes, B, no, or C, only on weekends? Now, if a road is obstructed, there's no way that you can enter that road. Therefore, the answer will be no. Question 5. What should you do if there are animals crossing the road? Is it A, stop your vehicle, B, continue as you have the right of way, or C, only stop if there are horses crossing? Now, irrespective of whether there are horses crossing, whether there are sheep or cows crossing, you have to stop your vehicle. Therefore, the answer will be A. Question 6. Are you allowed to use your vehicle on a public road if it does not have an effective fuel cap? Is it A, no, B, yes, or C, only if you drive a Toyota? Now, the correct answer will be no. You're not allowed to drive any vehicle on a public road if it does not have an effective fuel cap. So question 7. What is the furthest that your dip beam may brighten till? Is it A, 100 meters, is it B, 10 meters, or is it C, 45 meters? Now the correct answer will be C, 45 meters. Question 8. Can you carry a load on your vehicle if it will obscure the driver's view? Is it A, no, B, yes, or C, only if you are carrying wood? So straight away we can already tell that the answer will be no. So question 9. What are you supposed to do if there are pedestrians crossing the road? Is it A, stop your vehicle and let them cross? Is it B, don't stop as you have the right of way? Or is it C, drive around them? Now, we know that if we do see pedestrians crossing the road, it is our duty to stop our vehicle and let them cross. Therefore, your answer will be A. Question 10. How often should you check your rear view mirrors? Is it every 5 to 8 seconds? Is it every 10 minutes or every 30 minutes? Now, the correct time will be every 5 to 8 seconds. Therefore, your answer will be A. Question 11. Are you allowed to park in a disabled parking if you are conveying elderly people? Is the correct answer A, yes, B, no, or C, only if you are over 65? Now, your correct answer will be no. Question 12. What is the speed limit for buses? Is it 150 kilometers an hour? Is it 275 kilometers an hour? Or is it C, 100 kilometers an hour? Now, the correct answer will be C. Question 13. What are you supposed to do if you are driving in heavy rain? Is it A, increase your speed, B, decrease your following distance, or C, increase your following distance? Now, the correct answer will be C. If you are driving in heavy rain, you have to increase your following distance by slowing down. So question 14. What color warning lights does a firefighting vehicle have? Is it A, blue, B, green, or C, red? Now, each and every single one of us have seen a firefighting vehicle before. So we know that it has red lights. Therefore, the answer will be C. Question 15. What color warning lights does a traffic officer's vehicle have? Is it A, blue, B, green, or C, red? The correct answer will be blue. Question 16. What color boards do guidance and information signs have for freeways? Is it A, blue, B, green, or C, red? It will be blue, right? So the correct answer will be A. Question 17. What should you do first if you intend on moving forward from a parked position? Is it A, put your radio on, B, put your indicator on, or C, put your low beam lights on? Now, the correct answer will be B. You have to put your indicator on first, right? That has to be the first thing that you do before you intend on moving from a parked position, right? Question 18. Where should you keep your driver's license? Is it A, on you while driving, B, at home when you get out, or C, at work in a safe cupboard? Now, as long as you are driving on a public road, your driver's license has to be on you while driving. So your correct answer will be A. Question 19. For how many meters should your hooter be audible? Is it A, 100 meters, B, 90 meters, or C, 80 meters? Now the correct answer will be B, 90 meters. Question 20. What is the blind spot? Is it A, the area that you can't see in your mirror? Is it B, the left side of your vehicle? Or is it C, a specific area on your body? Now the correct answer will be A. It is the area that you cannot see in your mirror. Now we will be going on to the new format that I have created for vehicle controls, and let's go through them. So we can see a diagram there of the car's interior with the accelerator, the brake pedal, the steering wheel, your left and right mirrors, etc. So question 1, to turn your vehicle, you must use control A, G, or B. Now A would be your steering wheel, G would be your right hand side mirror, and B will be your gear knob. So which of the following three do you use to turn your vehicle? You have to use your steering wheel, so the correct answer will be A. Question 2. To accelerate, you must use control E, C, or B. So obviously, if you want to accelerate, you want to pick up speed, you have to use your accelerator. So the correct answer will be C, as C is your accelerator. Question 3. To slow down, you must use control. Is it D, C, or A? Now D would be your brake pedal, C would be your accelerator, and A will be your steering wheel. So which of the following do you use to slow down your vehicle? The obvious answer will be D, so your correct answer will be A. Question 4. Before you turn left, you must use control. Is it F, G, or E? Now F would be your left hand side mirror, G would be your right hand side mirror, and E will be your rear view mirror. So before you turn left, you have to use your left hand side mirror, so the correct answer will be A. Question 5. Before you turn right, you must use control. Is it F, G, or E? Now this is the opposite of the previous question, so the correct answer will be B. You have to use your right hand side mirror. 10 questions here. And question 1. What does the sign instruct you to do? So this is a stop sign. So what does the sign instruct you to do? A. Stop using your headlights. B. Come to a complete stop in front of the sign. Or C. Stop once you go past the sign. Now remember, when you see a stop sign, you have to either stop in line with that sign or before the sign. You're not allowed to go past the sign and then stop. Therefore, the answer here will be B. Come to a complete stop in front of the sign. Question 2. What does the sign instruct you to do? Now, in the last video, I reminded you that an upside down triangle actually is telling you to yield. Now, what does that mean? That means you have to come to a very low speed without stopping if there are no cars at an intersection, right? If there are cars at that intersection, you will have to come to a complete stop. So what does this sign instruct you to do? A. Turn left at the next intersection. B. Speed up when you see the sign. Or C. You must yield when you see the sign. The correct answer here will be C. You must yield when you see the sign. Question 3. What does the sign indicate? So it's a red background with a white arrow pointing towards the right direction. So does this sign indicate that there's a one-way road in the direction indicated? Or you must turn left at this sign? Or C. You must stop when you see the sign. Now the correct answer here will be A. The sign indicates that there is a one-way road in the direction indicated, and this sign can also appear pointing towards the left direction, so the answer will practically be the same thing. Question 4. What does the sign command you to do? Now this is a speed sign, however it is blue, right? It's blue and white, it's not red and white. So when a sign is red and white, it is indicating to you that there's a maximum speed limit. However, if the sign is blue and white, it is indicating to you that you must drive above that speed, right? The speed must be your minimum speed. So A, your vehicle must be above 3 tons on this road. B, you must not exceed 50 kilometers an hour. Or C, you must drive above 50 kilometers an hour. Now the correct answer for this will be C, you must drive above 50 kilometers an hour. Question 5. What must you do when you see this sign? Now this is a blue sign with a white arrow pointing towards the left direction. A, you must look at your left mirror. B, you must keep right. Or C, you must keep left. The correct answer for this will be C, you must keep left. And if that arrow is flipped in the other direction and is pointing towards the right direction, then it is instructing you to keep right. Question 6. What does this sign mean? Now there's a arrow pointing towards the left direction and a red line going through. So whenever there's a red line going through, it is prohibiting you from doing something. So is it A, you are allowed to turn left, B, you cannot turn left, or C, you are not allowed to turn right? Correct answer for this will actually be B, you cannot turn left. Question 7. What does the sign prohibit you from doing? So again, there's a red line going through. So is it A, making a U-turn, B, turning right, or C, reversing? The correct answer for this will be A, you are not allowed to make a U-turn whenever you see this sign. Question 8. What does the sign prohibit you from doing? Now there's an S behind that red line. So does the sign prohibit you from stopping in this area, making a sharp turn in this area, or starting your vehicle in this area? The correct answer will be A, you are not allowed to stop in a specific area where you see this sign. Question 9. What does the sign prohibit you from doing? So there's two vehicles in that sign and there's a red line going through one of the vehicles. So does this sign prohibit you from racing in this area, overtaking in this area, or you are not allowed to own two vehicles? Correct answer will actually be B. You are not allowed to overtake in the area that you see this sign. Question 10. What does this sign mean? Now, I've said this before. This is a white and red sign, meaning that it's your maximum speed limit. So is it A, the speed limit is 100 kilometers an hour, B, you must drive over 100 kilometers an hour, or C, your vehicle must not weigh over 100 tons on this road? Correct answer will be A, the speed limit is 100 kilometers an hour. We now go on to rules of the road, which has another 10 questions. Question 1. When should you increase your following distance? Is it A, when traveling in wet conditions, B, only when your radio is on, or C, if you are driving on a Monday? Now, what is a following distance? So it is a distance between you and the vehicle driving in front of you, right? Directly in front of you. So increasing your following distance basically means your vehicle will either slow down and you will be increasing the distance between the two vehicles. So when should you do this? You should do this if you are traveling in wet conditions, because when it is raining, it takes your vehicle longer to slow down. So the answer will be A. Question 2. How often should you check your mirrors while driving? Is it A, you don't have to check your mirrors, B, every 5 to 8 seconds, or C, every 30 minutes? The correct answer here will actually be every 5 to 8 seconds, therefore it will be B. Question 3. What is the maximum speed limit on non-urban roads for a vehicle with a mass of more than 9,000 kilograms? Is it A, 120 kilometers an hour, B, 250 kilometers an hour, or C, 80 kilometers an hour? Now the correct answer here will be C. Question 4. Are you allowed to cross a solid white line while driving? The correct answer here will be no. You are not allowed to cross a solid white line at all. Question 5. Are you allowed to drive on the shoulder of the road beyond the left yellow line? Is it A, no, B, yes, or C, only if you're in a rush? The correct answer here will be no. You are not allowed to drive on the shoulder of the road. The only time you are allowed to go beyond that yellow line, right, there are a few reasons. I'm going to give you one of them now. The main reason is if your vehicle breaks down. So you go and you park your vehicle beyond that left yellow line. Question 6. Which of the following is true? A, you are not allowed to turn at an intersection if it will cause harm to other road users. B, you are not allowed to listen to your radio on the weekend. Or C, you can only drive a red vehicle on a freeway. Now B and C don't make sense, therefore the answer will be A. Question 7. Which of the following will happen if you are illegally parked? A, you will be arrested. B, nothing, you can park wherever you want. Or C, you will be fined or your vehicle will be impounded. Correct answer here will be C. Question 8. Is an ambulance allowed to park on the road if they are carrying out their duties? A, no, they have to follow the rules of the road. B, yes, these rules don't apply to them. Or C, only on weekends. Now we are talking about an ambulance which is carrying out their duties, Therefore, the answer will be B. These rules don't apply to them because they are saving lives. Question 9. Are you allowed to stop on a public road if a traffic officer instructs you to do so? Is it A, no, B, yes, C, only if you are driving a truck? The correct answer will be yes, you are allowed. Now, let's say you are driving on a road and the road sign tells you not to stop, right? Or let's say the road sign tells you cannot make a U-turn. However, there's a traffic officer there which instructs you to make a U-turn. You have to ignore that sign and listen to the traffic officer and make a U-turn. Question 10. Are you allowed to tow a vehicle on the freeway without a solid tow bar? A, no, B, yes, C, only if you are towing a truck. The correct answer here will be A. You are not allowed to tow a vehicle on the freeway without a solid tow bar because you are traveling at a high speed, and if you had to slow down quickly, right, if you had to slam on the brakes, the vehicle you are towing behind you, because you are using a tow rope, will hit you from the back. Now, 70% of the people that do fail their learner's license test is purely due to the fact that they are nervous before their test. Now, you can have sufficient knowledge of all the road signs and rules of the road, but if you are nervous, right, your nerves can cause you to fail. Now, what are some ways that we can get rid of this, right? What are some ways that you can ensure that when you get to that testing center, you are calm and confident? So tip 1 is preparation, right? If you prepare sufficiently, you know that you have the relevant knowledge needed for the test. You will not be nervous because you know you can tackle each and every single question that they throw at you. So feeling confident in your knowledge can significantly reduce anxiety. So your second tip will be to have positive visualization, right? So now what does that mean? That means imagining yourself going into the testing center, sitting down, writing the test and acing this test, right? Now by visualizing this success, you can help reduce anxiety and boost your confidence. So that's another way. It's a very good way actually. So another way would be to arrive early, because when you rush, right, because you know that you are late, it will increase your anxiety. And once you get there, you will be very nervous. And remember, for the learner's license test, you have to be there very early. You have to be there long before the test starts. So just remember that. So avoid cramming. So trying to learn all of the road signs or learning the rules of the road on the way to the testing center will make you fail. Because once you get there, right, you're going to have your last minute stress. And what you should do actually is review your materials in the days leading up to the test and just use the day before for a light review. Don't learn anything new on the day that you are writing. Just remember that. So another way would be to seek support. Talk to your friends who have already written their learner's license test, as they can give you a very clear and straightforward route in order to how to learn and what methods help them with the test. So that can be a very good way as well. Now, you need to remember that feeling nervous before a test is completely normal. And every single one who writes their learner's license test experiences it. But the main thing is about finding what works for you and how to manage that anxiety, right? So you need to remember to show up to the test center, take every single tip that I've given you, and show that test who's boss. So we've come to things that I will be teaching you how to identify each road sign, how to identify the symbol, where you could find it, and what each thing will mean. Because there is no point in answering questions if you don't know what each sign means. So our first sign today will be this red and white sign. Now it is in a circle shape and it has a red line going through. And as I always say, if you see a red line going through, it is prohibiting something. And you can see a capital letter A and a capital letter V in this road sign. So what does this actually mean? Now the A and V will stand for abnormal vehicles. And if there is a red line going through, it means that abnormal vehicles are not allowed on this lane or not allowed past this road sign. This sign basically prohibits abnormal vehicles on the road. So now we can see a triangle shape, right? And this has a red border. And within this road sign, we can see like a tunnel there, right? And there's one vehicle entering the tunnel and there's another vehicle that's coming out of the tunnel. So this road sign basically warns you of a tunnel ahead. Now we have a very peculiar looking road sign, right? And this road sign will actually show you that you are approaching a 2 or more track railway level crossing, right? Now we see another triangle shaped road sign with a red border again. However, we can see that there is a black arrow that is pointing towards the left direction, right? And this road sign will actually indicate that there is a sharp turn to the left ahead. As I have said, triangle road signs will always warn you of something. So in this case, it will warn you of a sharp turn to the left. So now we see a road sign with a very familiar road marking within it, right? And I have discussed this particular road marking in the previous video. And this is actually an arrestor bed, right? This entire road sign will warn you of an arrestor bed lane ahead. So now we see a blue and white sign, right? It has a white border with a blue background. So we can see a capital R. We can see a couple yellow lines, broken up lines. And then we can see a regular length bus and we can see a midi bus. How do we know this is a midi bus? Well, it is smaller than the regular bus and it is much bigger than what a usual minibus will look like, right? And this sign will basically show you that a bus lane reservation will begin at this point. So at the point in which you see this road sign, that is where the bus lane reservation will begin. We can see another triangle sign with a red border. However, we can see a yellow background with a blue circle in the center. Now, this sign will indicate to you that beyond this sign, you will find a police block. Now, this sign is pretty straightforward, right? It is a circle sign with a red border and it has a white background. And within the sign, you can see it says 12T. Now, this is pretty straightforward. What does 12T mean? It stands for 12 tons. So as soon as you see the sign, you must know that no vehicle that exceeds the weight limit stated on the sign, so 12 tons, will be able to go past this point. So the point at which you find this road sign. So if you are driving a vehicle that weighs above 12 tons and you see this road sign, you are not allowed to go past it, right? You are prohibited to go past this line. Now we can see a very familiar road sign on top, right? This will be one entire road sign, but I'm just breaking it up into two. So on top, you can see a yield sign, right? We know what yielding means. However, at the bottom, you can see a pedestrian there with a red background and a white border. So entirely, what does this sign mean? This sign basically tells you that you will have to yield to pedestrians, right? Pedestrians, because there's a pedestrian sign at the bottom and there's a yield sign on top. Now we can see a white and blue sign, right? A blue background with a white border. And we can see the capital letter P on top of the sign, right at the top. And below the capital letter P, we can see the back of a truck. However, on this truck, there is a yellow diamond. And we know what yellow diamond means, right? Again, I explained it in the previous video. So this road sign will actually indicate to you that there's a specific parking area, right, that is reserved for vehicles that are conveying dangerous goods. So it could be goods like fuel, gas, stuff like that. Now, this is a very peculiar sign, right? I doubt most of you have seen the sign before. And now we can see there is a speed limit on top. How do we know it is a speed limit? You can see a red border and a white background, and it says 100 kilometers an hour. However, at the bottom of the sign, we can see a black background and 2 stars and the moon. How do we know this is a moon? Obviously, this image at the bottom is reflecting the night sky. So this sign basically prohibits you from driving faster than 100 kilometers an hour at night, right? Now we can see a blue background with a white border and a capital letter T in the center of this road sign. So what does this mean? This sign will basically indicate to you that you have to pay toll fees, right? Now we can see again a triangle sign with a red border and a white background. We can see 2 lanes, and the lane on the left will actually merge into the lane on the right. This sign will basically warn you that the dual roadway you are traveling on comes to an end ahead. Now we can see again a triangle sign with a red border, a white background, and a black diagram, right? And we can see a formation here that kind of looks like a wave. So this sign will actually warn you that there is a drift ahead which may contain water. There we go. We can see sort of like a wave formation. It may also indicate to you that the drift ahead will contain debris, right? Either water or debris. Now we can see this sign, right? It is in a rectangle shape. And we can see there is a red border with a white background and there are 4 arrows there. Now each arrow will represent a lane, and the two arrows on the left are sort of converging into the two lanes on the right. So this sign indicates the converging of traffic lanes, right? As we can see, the two lanes from the left are coming in towards the right hand side. Now again, we can see three lines representing lanes, separate lanes, within a white background and a red border. However, on the lane all the way to the right, you will see a blue circle with a white border and 80 within that sign. So that 80 will basically give you the minimum speed limit for the lane. So on the right lane, in this case, the minimum speed that you should be traveling is 80 kilometers an hour. Remember, if you see a road sign with a white background and a red border, it's giving you the maximum speed limit. If you see a road sign with a blue background and a white border indicating a speed on it, that will give you the minimum speed limit. Now we can see a sign similar to the ones we had in the first view, right? There's an arrow pointing towards the right direction with a red border and a red line going through. So obviously this sign will prohibit you from turning right. Now we can see a triangle road sign with a truck, right? It's going downhill, and there's another vehicle that has crashed into this truck. So this sign will basically indicate that there are slow moving heavy vehicles traveling downhill ahead. Now this sign is a circle sign. It has a red border with a red line going through, and it has an arrow that's going forward and then it's making a U-turn, right? You are turning to go backwards. So that's known as a U-turn. And this sign will actually prohibit you from making a U-turn at this point. So what do they mean when they say at this point? They mean at the point at which you see the sign. So if it is at a stop street, that is a point at which you are not allowed to make a U-turn. Now we can see another triangular sign. However, there is a line going straight ahead, and then there is another line on the right, and as we go ahead, there's another line on the left. So this sign will actually warn you that you are approaching a staggered junction. In this sign, you can see a circular sign with a red border and a red line going through. And within that sign, we can see two trucks, right? This is the back of each truck. There's the tires and there's the carrying bed, right? And when you see these signs, it is basically indicating to you that a goods vehicle may not overtake another goods vehicle for the next 500 meters. Now, this is very specific. So let me tell you again what it means. It means that a goods vehicle may not overtake another goods vehicle for the next 500 meters. So this circular sign has a red border and a white background. And in this sign, we can see a truck, right? There's a long truck there. And then it says 15M. Now this 15M actually stands for 15 meters. Right? If the vehicle that you are driving is longer than 15 meters, it may not drive past the sign, right? You are not allowed to go past that point if your vehicle is longer than 15 meters. Again, in this sign, it is a circular sign with a red line going through and a red border, which means it is prohibiting something. And within the sign, we can see another truck, right at the back of a truck. And we can see that yellow diamond shape there. Again, immediately when you see the yellow diamond shape, you must know that they are talking about a hazardous goods vehicle. And if there is a line going through, it will indicate that hazardous goods vehicles or vehicles that are transporting hazardous goods, they are not allowed to use that road. See, there is another circular sign with a red border, a red line going through, and a white background. However, within the sign, we can see there is a delivery vehicle, right? This icon actually represents a delivery vehicle. And this entire sign basically indicates to you that delivery vehicles are prohibited beyond this road sign. So if you see the sign and you are driving a delivery vehicle, you are not allowed to go past that sign. So this sign is pretty easy, right? You can see a green background with a white border. We can see a lane going straight ahead, and there is a certain lane that branches off into the right direction, and we can see another red rectangle there. So this sign will basically warn you that there is a dead end towards the right hand side. So this red will represent a dead end. So we can see a blue background, a circle sign with a white border, and you can see the outline of a bicycle within the sign. And because it has a blue background with a white border, it is actually indicating that only bicycles may travel here. So only bicycles may travel on that specific lane. So now we can see there is a motor vehicle in the sign. It is a circle sign on top, and there's a red line going through. And below that sign, you can see a text box there, right? So this will indicate a specific time. In this case, it has 6:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. So whenever you see the sign, you need to understand that this sign will forbid motor vehicles from driving on this road between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. right? So to be specific, 6:30 to 9 o'clock. We will now do a few questions in order to test how much we have picked up from the video lesson. So let us begin. Question 1. What does the sign forbid you from doing? Again, we can see there's a motor vehicle in that sign. There's a red line going through and there's a timestamp at the bottom between 6:30 and 9 a.m. So is it option A, the sign will prohibit you from parking a sedan? Is it option B, motor vehicles from driving here between 6:30 and 9 a.m.? Or is it option C, driving a sedan? Now we know when we do see the sign, it will prohibit motor vehicles from parking here between 6:30 a.m. and 9 a.m. Therefore, option B will be your correct answer. Question 2. What does the sign forbid you from doing? Now we can see the maximum speed limit at the top of the sign, and we can see at the bottom it is indicating that it is nighttime. So is it A, driving under 100 kilometers an hour at night? Is it option B, driving at night? Or is it C, driving above 100 kilometers an hour at night? Now, since this is a maximum speed limit, the sign will forbid you from driving above 100 kilometers an hour at night. Therefore, the correct answer will be option C. Question 3. What does the sign warn you of? So we can see a downhill slope, we can see a truck, and we can see a small motor vehicle crashing into that truck. So is it option A, a possibility of slow moving vehicles ahead? Is it option B, an accident ahead? Or is it option C, downhill racing ahead? Obviously, the correct answer will be option A. Question 4. What does the sign mean? You can see a blue background with a white border and the outline of a bicycle. So is it option A, motorbikes may ride here? Option B, bicycles may not ride here? Or C, only bicycles may ride here? Now the correct answer will be option C. Question 5. What does the sign mean? Now we can see a lane going forward, a lane going towards the right hand side, and then there's a dead end there. So is it option A, there's a dead end to the right? Is it option B, there's a dead end to the left? Or is it option C, there is a parking spot to the right? Correct answer will be option A. Question 6. What does this sign mean? We can see a delivery vehicle in this road sign and a red line going through. So that is prohibiting something. So is it option A, no pedestrians are allowed ahead? Is it option B, only trucks are allowed ahead? Or is it option C, delivery vehicles are prohibited beyond this point? Again, the answer is C. Question 7. What does the sign mean? Now we can see a red line going through, so automatically prohibition. And then we can see a truck that is carrying dangerous goods, right? Hazardous goods. So is it option A, black trucks are not allowed here? Is it option B, dangerous goods vehicles are prohibited from using this road? Or is it option C, 2-ton vehicles are not allowed on this road? Correct answer will be option B. Question 8. What does this sign mean? We can see a truck in that sign and we can see it says 15 meters. So is it option A, if the length of a vehicle exceeds the length on the sign, it is not allowed beyond this point? Is it option B, 15-ton vehicles are not allowed on this road? Or is it option C, if a vehicle is carrying 15 passengers, it is not allowed on this road? Correct answer will be option A. Question 9. What does the sign mean? Now we can see 2 trucks, right? We can see the back of 2 trucks and we can see a red line going through only one of them. So is the correct answer option A, trucks are not allowed here? Is it option B, you are not allowed to race a truck? Or is it option C, a goods vehicle may not overtake another goods vehicle for the next 500 meters? Correct answer will be option C. Question 10. What does the sign mean? Now we can see there is a U-turn icon there and there's a red line going through. So is it option A, you are not allowed to make a U-turn here? Is it option B, you are allowed to make a U-turn here? Or is it option C, you are not allowed to look in your rear view mirror here? Correct answer will be option A. Question 11. What does the sign mean? Now we can see a red border. It's a triangle shape with a white background. And you can see a lane going forward and one on the left, another lane on the left, and another lane on the right. So is it A, there is a broken ladder ahead? Is it option B, there is a staggered junction ahead? Or is it option C, there is a parking lot ahead? Correct answer will be option B. Question 12. What does this sign mean? Now we can see a blue background, a white border. We can see the capital letter P and can see a hazardous goods vehicle there. So there will be a truck. So is it option A, the parking area is reserved for dangerous goods vehicles? Is it option B, only 10-ton vehicles are allowed here? Or is it C, there is a parking lot ahead? Correct answer will be option A. Question 13. What does this sign mean? Now we can see a capital letter T within a blue background and a white border. So is it A, you must be towing a vehicle in this lane? Is it option B, you must pay toll fees? Or is it option C, this is a no towing zone? Correct answer will be option B. Question 14. What does this sign mean? Is it option A, no hatchbacks are allowed on this lane? Is it option B, you must turn left ahead? Or is it option C, the roadway that you are traveling on comes to an end ahead? Correct answer will be option C. Question 15. What does this sign mean? Again, we can see 4 different lanes and a red border. So is it option A, there is a left turn ahead? Is it option B, it indicates the converging of traffic lanes? Or is it option C, there is a right turn ahead? The correct answer will be option B. Question 16. What does this sign mean? You can see a triangle shape with a red border and sort of a water formation there. So is it option A, there is a pool ahead? Is it option B, there is a beach ahead? Or is it option C, there is a drift ahead that may contain water or debris? Correct answer will be option C. Question 17. What does this sign mean? You can see a yield sign on top and a pedestrian sign below it. So is it option A, you have to yield to pedestrians? Is it option B, you have to yield to horses? Or is it option C, you must stop at the traffic lights ahead? Correct answer will be option A. Question 18. What does this sign mean? We can see it says 12 tons within a white background and a red border. So is it option A, if the mass of your vehicle exceeds 12 tons, you are not allowed past this point? Is it option B, only 12 vehicles are allowed here? Or is it option C, you must have 12 passengers? Correct answer will be option A. Question 19. What does this sign mean? So we can see a regular length bus, we can see a minibus and the capital letter R within a rectangular shaped sign with a blue background and a white border. So is it option A, only minibuses are allowed here? Is it option B, no buses are allowed here? Or is it option C, a bus lane reservation begins here? Correct answer will be option C. Question 20. What does this sign mean? So we can see a prohibition sign, we can see a red line going through, and we can see an arrow that is pointing towards the right hand direction, right? Is it option A, you are not allowed to turn right? Is it option B, you are not allowed to turn left? Or is it option C, you are not allowed to drive on ahead? Correct answer will be option A. Question 21. What does this sign mean? Now we can see a red border and 3 lanes, and the right lane will have a minimum speed limit on it. In this case, it will be 80 kilometers an hour. So is it option A, you must drive on the right lane? Is it option B, indicate the maximum speed limit? Is it option C, indicate the minimum speed limit in the lane? The correct answer will be option C. Question 22. What does the sign mean? You can see a red triangle border, you can see a yellow background and a blue circle in the center. Is it option A, there is a police block beyond the sign? Is it option B, there is a reservoir ahead? Or is it option C, there is a stop sign ahead? Now, the correct answer to this will be option A. Question 23. What does the sign mean? Is it option A, there is a flag ahead? Is it option B, there is an arrest-a-bed lane ahead? Or is it option C, there is a yield sign ahead? Now, the correct answer will indeed be option B. Question 24. What does the sign mean? Is it option A, you are not allowed to turn left? Is it option B, it indicates a sharp turn to the right? Option C, it indicates a sharp turn to the left. Now, the correct answer will be option C. Question 25. What does the sign mean? Is it option A, you are approaching a 2 or more track railway level crossing? Is it option B, there is a stop ahead? Or is it C, there is a gate ahead? Now, the correct answer will be option A. Question 26. What does this sign mean? Now, we can see a red border there, or a triangle, and we can see a tunnel within that sign. So is it option A, there is a tunnel ahead? Is it option B, there is a parking lot ahead? Or is it option C, there is a dealership ahead? Now the correct answer will be option A. Question 27. What does a sign mean? We can see a capital letter A and a capital letter V. However, there's a red line going through. So is it option A, automatic vehicles are not allowed here? Is it option B, abnormal vehicles are not allowed here? Or is it option C, you must stop here? Now the correct answer will indeed be option B. So for the sections, there are 3 sections that you will find in your test. There are rules of the road, which contain 30 questions. There are road signs, which contain another 30 questions. And there are vehicle controls, which comprise of 8 questions. Now there is a pass mark that you need to get. For the rules of the road, you need to get 22 correct out of 30 questions. For road signs, you need to get 23 correct out of 30 questions. And for vehicle controls, you need another 6 correct out of 8. So for the first section that we are going through today is rules of the road. So question 1. Are you allowed to drive your vehicle on a public road if your vehicle's license disc has expired? Is it A, yes, B, no, or C, you are only allowed to drive on weekends? Now every car will have a vehicle's license disc, and once it expires, you are actually allowed to drive your vehicle on the public road. However, there's a certain number of days in which you are allowed to drive, and the question 2 will touch on that topic. So question 2, how long are you allowed to drive a vehicle on a public road if your vehicle's license disc has expired? Is it A, 40 days? Is it B, 21 days? Or is it C, 1 week? Now according to South African law, once your vehicle's license disc has expired, you are allowed 21 days in which that you can drive your vehicle on a public road. So for question 3, if you lend your vehicle to a friend, who would be responsible for traffic offenses? Is it you as the owner of the vehicle? Is it your friend, the driver of the vehicle? Or is it nobody? Now you need to remember that traffic offenses are things like speeding tickets. So if your friend gets a speeding ticket while he is driving, who will be responsible for this? Is it you as the owner of the vehicle, or is it him, the driver? The answer is actually you, as you are the owner of the vehicle, not him. Question 4. When a vehicle's brake lights are illuminated, this means that the vehicle is A, turning left, B, accelerating, or C, slowing down. Now brakes are primarily on a vehicle to slow the vehicle down, and if the brake lights are illuminated, it means that the vehicle is actually slowing down. Question 5. When are you not allowed to overtake a vehicle? Is it A, on a Sunday? Is it B, when approaching a blind turn? Or is it C, when on a one-way road? The answer is actually B, when you are approaching a blind turn, as you cannot see what is on the other side of that turn, and if you do choose to overtake, and if there's a car at the other side, you will get in a serious accident. So the second section is road signs, with question 1 being, what does this sign mean? Now this sign, there's a P in the sign and there's a red line going through. So one thing about that you need to remember is, if there is a red line going through a sign, it means you are not allowed to do something. So is the answer A, you must speed up in this area? B, you must turn on your high beams in this area? Or is it C, you are not allowed to park in this area? So since A and B are telling you to do something, it cannot be A or B. The answer is actually C. You are not allowed to park in this area. Question 2. What does the sign warn you of? So there's a red triangle, and every time you see a red triangle, it is actually warning you of something. So there's a cross in that sign. Is it warning you of a crossroad? Is it warning you of a church? Or is it warning you of an airport? The answer is actually a crossroad, because whenever you see a cross in in a triangle, it will mean that there's a crossroad ahead. Question 3. What does a sign prohibit? Does it prohibit you from parking in that area? Does it prohibit you from using a hooter in that area? Or does it prohibit you from using your headlights? Now we can see in the sign there's a red line going through. It's prohibiting you from doing something, and there's a horn in the sign. So the answer is B, since you cannot use your hooter in that area. Question 4. What does the sign warn you of? So there is a T in that sign. Is it warning you of a restaurant ahead? Is it warning you of a T junction ahead? Or is it warning you of a left turn ahead? The T in a triangle stands for T junction, and it's warning you of a T junction ahead. So the answer is B. Question 5. What does the sign prevent you from doing? Again, we can see a red line going through the sign and there's a thumbs up there. Is it preventing you from picking up hitchhikers? Is it preventing you from showing thumbs up to the person next to you? Or is it preventing you from hooting in that area? Obviously, the answer is A. It's preventing you from picking up hitchhikers. The next section and the last section that we are going to be looking at are vehicle controls. Vehicle controls are quite easy. So question 1, which of the following is not found in an automatic vehicle? Is it A, your rear view mirror? Is it B, your indicator? Or is it C, your clutch pedal? An automatic vehicle will not contain a clutch pedal since that is only found in manual vehicles. Question 2, which of the following is used to increase your speed? Is it A, your accelerator? Is it B, your brake pedal? Or is it C, your clutch pedal? So when a vehicle is picking up speed, it's actually accelerating, which means that the answer is A, your accelerator. Question 3. Which of the following do you use to stop your vehicle? Is it A, your accelerator? Is it B, your brake pedal? Or is it C, your clutch pedal? As we have said before, the brakes on a car slow the car down, so your answer is B. Question 4. Which of the following do you use to engage a gear? Like we said earlier, when you're talking about engaging a gear, it's found in a manual car. So the only one of the following answers which are found in a manual car is your clutch pedal. So your answer is C. Question 5. Which of the following do you use to clear your windscreen? Is it your steering wheel? Is it your indicators? Or is it a windscreen wiper? A and B are not used to clear your windscreen. They have nothing to do with your windscreen. So the answer can only be C. Section 1 is rules of the road. I have included 10 questions in this section. So question 1 is saying, you are not allowed to drive your motor vehicle if the alcohol blood concentration in your body is more than A, 0.05 grams per 100 milliliters of blood, B, 0.05 grams per 100 milliliters of blood, or C, 0.005 grams per 100 milliliters of blood. So the answer for this question is 0.05 grams, as if you blow anything over 0.05 grams, you will be arrested. Question 2. Are you allowed to drive your vehicle on a public road if A, it does not have a radio, B, you drive in a reckless manner, or C, if you have 20-inch wheels? Now, you are allowed to drive your vehicle on a public road if you do not have a radio, as well as having 20-inch wheels. You are actually allowed to drive on a public road. However, you are not allowed to drive in a reckless manner. Therefore, the answer is B. Because remember, if you're driving in a reckless manner, you are endangering not only yourself, but other road users as well. Question 3. Are you allowed to have an alcoholic drink to calm down if you have just had an accident? The answer to this is A, which is no. You are not allowed to have an alcoholic drink at all. Question 4. Are you allowed to immediately stop your vehicle if you have been involved in an accident? Is it A, no, B, yes, or C, only if it's the weekend? The answer to this is B. You have to immediately stop your vehicle if you have been involved in an accident. Question 5. Your vehicle's tires must have a tread depth of A, 0.10 millimeters, B, 0.1 millimeters, or C, 1 millimeter. Now, every vehicle should have a tread depth of at least 1 millimeter. For question 6, it states your vehicle must be fitted with A, pneumatic tires, B, water-filled tires, or C, sand-filled tires. Now, pneumatic tires are tires that are filled with air, and each single tire that is fitted to a vehicle that is driving on a public road has pneumatic tires. It contains air within them. Question 7. What is the general speed limit on a freeway? Is it A, 100 kilometers an hour? Is it B, 120 kilometers an hour? Or is it C, 80 kilometers an hour? The answer here is 120 kilometers an hour. Now, do remember that certain freeways will have a speed limit higher than 120 kilometers an hour. However, in this question, they are just speaking of the general speed limit. So for question 8, it's asking, what is the speed limit within urban areas? Is it 25 kilometers an hour? Is it 60 kilometers an hour? or is it 80 kilometers an hour? Now within urban areas, it is 60 kilometers an hour. Therefore, B will be your answer. Question 9. You are not allowed to A. break the speed limit when you are overtaking, B. talk to your passengers while driving, or C. have a sunroof in your vehicle. So you are actually allowed to have a sunroof and you are allowed to talk to your passengers while driving. Therefore, the answer is A. You are not allowed to break the speed limit while you are overtaking. Question 10. You are not allowed to park your vehicle in a place where you are not allowed to, you are allowed to, B. in your garage, or C. it will obstruct vehicles passing by. Now, you are allowed to park where there's a given area to park. You are allowed to park in your garage, but you are not allowed to park on a road if it will obstruct the vehicles going by. Therefore, your answer will be C. So for road signs, we included 10 questions as well with new signs that we have never ever shown on our channel before. So question 1 states, what does this sign warn you of? Now we can see that this is a red triangle, and I have stated before that a red triangle warns you of something ahead. And we can see there are 3 bumps within the sign. So does it mean that the road is uneven? Does it mean that there is a beach nearby? Or does it mean that there is a hump ahead? So this sign actually warns you of an uneven road. Question 2. What does this sign warn you of? So we can see there's a crossroad in that sign. However, the length and the thickness of the lines are different. So the lane going in your direction, which will be the center line, is much thicker. So does this sign mean that there's a crossroad ahead? Does it mean that there's a priority crossroad ahead? Or does it mean that you have the right of way? Does it mean that there's a roundabout ahead? The actual answer is B. This is a priority crossroad and you have the right of way. Question 3. What does this sign warn you of? Now we can see there's a hump in that sign. So does the sign warn you of sand dunes? Does it warn you of a police station? Or does it warn you of a speed bump ahead? This sign actually warns you of a speed bump ahead. Therefore, the answer will be C. Question 4. What does this sign mean? Now we can see there's a vehicle in that sign as well as tire marks. So does this mean that you are allowed to drift ahead? Does this mean that there's a slippery road ahead? Or does this mean that the road is full ahead? This means that there's a slippery road ahead, as you can see tire marks, and the car is not going straight in a straight direction. For question 5, what does this sign warn you of? So we can see there's a T-junction, however there's a skewed line on top. So does this mean there's a T-junction ahead? Does this mean there's a tourist destination ahead? Or does this mean that there's a skewed T-junction ahead? This sign actually is telling you that there's a skewed T-junction ahead. Question 6. What does this sign warn you of? So this sign has a yellow background, and whenever you see a sign with a yellow background, it is actually a temporary sign. So it means that that sign will not be there forever. However, while that sign is still there, you have to abide by the rules stated by that sign. So does this sign warn you of temporary roadworks ahead? Does it warn you of a party ahead? Or does it warn you of a hardware store ahead? So this actually warns you of a temporary roadwork ahead. Question 7. What does this sign warn you of? So we can see there's a straight line. However, there's another lane coming in from the left. So does this mean there's a driveway on the left? Does this mean there's a racetrack ahead? Or does this mean that there's traffic approaching from the left? The answer here is C. This is warning you of traffic approaching from the left. So for question 8, there's a yellow circle within the sign. So is this sign warning you of a sunrise ahead? Is it warning you of emergency lights flashing? Or is it warning you of a traffic light ahead? This sign is actually warning you of emergency lights ahead. Question 9. What does this sign warn you of? So we can see there's a car going off the road and there is water under it. So does this sign warn you of the road ending ahead because of water? Is it warning you of a beach ahead? Or is it warning you of a pool ahead? This sign actually warns you that the road ends due to water ahead. What does this sign warn you of? We can see there is an upside down triangle, and whenever you see an upside down triangle on the road, it is actually telling you to yield. So does this sign warn you of a speed up sign ahead? Does it warn you of a yield sign ahead? Or does it warn you of an ambulance ahead? This sign actually warns you of a yield sign ahead. So for the last section, we have vehicle controls. So for question 1, which of the following do you use to check the right side of your vehicle? Is it A, your right side mirror? Is it B, your rear view mirror? Or is it C, your steering wheel? So if we are trying to see the right side of the vehicle, you look at your right side mirror. And if you're trying to look at the left hand side of your vehicle, it will be your left side mirror. Question 2. Which of the following is used to prevent your car from stalling? When we refer to stalling, we are talking about a manual vehicle. Therefore, the answer will be A. Your clutch pedal will prevent your vehicle from stalling. Question 3. Which of the following is used to signal that you are turning? Is it your accelerator? Is it your hazards? Or is it your indicators? The answer will be C, your indicators, as we have a left and right indicator on your vehicle, and those will signal that you are turning left or right. Question 4. Which of the following is used to prevent a parked vehicle from moving? So a parked vehicle is a vehicle that has no driver and is locked. So do you use your accelerator from preventing that vehicle from moving? Do you use your handbrake or your brake pedal? Since you will be leaving your vehicle, you have to use your handbrake to secure the car. Question 5. Which of the following is used to change gears? Is it your clutch and gear knob? Is it your brake and accelerator? Or is it your steering wheel? Within a manual vehicle, we use a clutch and gear knob to actually change gears. Therefore, your answer is A. Let's start. Question 1. Where do you find the sign? So this is a sign with a green background with a white arrow pointing towards the left direction and an exit writing on top. Will you find the sign between an off-ramp and the continuing freeway? Will you find it on an urban road or on a rural road? Now this sign is mainly found on a freeway between an off-ramp and the continuing freeway, so the answer will be A. Question 2. What does this sign instruct you to do? So this is a sign with a red arrow pointing upwards and a black arrow pointing downwards. Will this sign instruct you to immediately reverse? Will it instruct you to put your left indicator on? Or will it instruct you to keep an eye out for other vehicles and yield if there are vehicles in the carriageway? The correct answer will be C. Question 3. This is not actually a road sign. This is just an image of a road with a white line in the center. So what does this solid white line mean? So in other words, what should you do? What should you not do when you see a solid white line on the road? A. You must speed up. B. You are not allowed to overtake. Or C. You must turn left. Now when you see a solid white line, you are not allowed to overtake. So the answer will be B. Question 4. Where do you find the sign? This is a warning sign with a gate and 2 posts. Will you find the sign at a railway crossing? Will you find it on urban roads or on a driveway? The correct answer will be A. You will find the sign at a railway crossing. Question 5. What does the sign mean? So there's a bicycle in that sign with a red line going through. And whenever you see a red line going through a sign, it is actually preventing you from doing something. So A. You are allowed to ride your bike in this lane. B. You are not allowed to ride your bike in this lane. Or C. You must not own a bike. So the answer will be B. You are not allowed to ride your bike in this line. Question 6. What does the sign warn you of? So there's a warning sign with an animal there. A. You must be driving a 4x4. B. There's a park ahead. Or C. There may be wild animals on the road. The correct answer for this will be C. There may be wild animals on the road. Now we are going on to the second section, which is rules of the road. Question 1. How far ahead should your main beams brighten the road ahead? Is it A. 40 meters, B. 100 meters, or C. 220 meters? The correct answer will be B. 100 meters ahead. Question 2. Are you allowed to have your park lights on while you are driving. Now we do see a lot of cars driving with the park lights on. So is the answer A, no, B, yes, or C, only during the day? The correct answer is A, no. You are not allowed to drive your vehicle with your park lights on. Question 3. Are you allowed to drive your vehicle on a public road if your brake lights are not working? Is it A, no, B, yes, or C, only during the day? The correct answer will be no. You are not allowed to drive your car on the road if your brake lights are not working, as if you are slowing down, the vehicle behind you will not know and you will end up having an accident. Question 4. What should the maximum turning radius for a motor vehicle be? Is it A, 2 meters, B, 50 meters, or C, 13.1 meters? The correct answer will be C, 13.1 meters. Question 5. What should you do if an ambulance is behind you? A, give it the right of way and change lanes. B, have a race with it. Or C, block it. The correct answer here is A, you have to move out of the way and give it right of way. Question 6. Are you allowed to use your hooter to greet your friend? A, only if you haven't seen them for a while. B, yes. C, no. The correct answer here is no. You are not allowed to use your hooter to greet your friend. The primary use of a hooter is to indicate other road users of imminent danger ahead. So the answer will be no. Right, question 1. What does this road marking indicate? Now we can see there's a yellow broken up line, and on the lane next to that line it says bus. So what does this road marking indicate? Is it A, buses are not allowed on this section of the road? B, only buses are allowed on this section of the road? Or C, you are allowed to ride your bike in this lane? Since it says bus in yellow writing, it means that only buses are allowed on this section of the road. So your answer will be B. Question 2. What does this road marking indicate? So there's a yellow border there, and there's a capital A in the center of that border. So is it A, this spot is available for ambulances only? B, the spot is available for tow trucks only? Or C, only automatic vehicles may park here? Now the A actually stands for ambulances, therefore this spot will be available for ambulances only. Question 3. What does this sign mean? Now there's a vehicle there, and we can tell that that is a taxi because of the rectangle on top of the vehicle. And this is a blue and white sign. So what does this sign actually mean? Is it A, only SUVs may drive here? B, only police vehicles may drive here? Or C, only taxis are allowed to drive here? Now the correct answer will be C, only taxis are allowed to drive here. Question 4. What does this sign mean? Now again, it is a blue and white sign. However, there's a capital A and V there. So is it A, only abnormal vehicles may drive here? B, only automatic vehicles may drive here? Or C, only race cars may drive here? Now the A and V stands for abnormal vehicles. Therefore, the answer will be A. Question 5. What does this road marking mean? So there are white lines there, and there's a black arrow. Now that black arrow is providing you with the direction of the flow of traffic. So what do these white road markings mean? Is it A, you can only stop here on weekends? B, you are allowed to park here? Or C, you are not allowed to park here? Now those road markings are your parking spaces, which means you are allowed to park here. Question 6. What does this road marking mean? Again, the black arrow indicates the flow of traffic, the direction of the flow of traffic. Then we have a white border, and in white writing it says stop. So is it A, you must accelerate past the line? B, you can stop beyond the white line? Or C, your vehicle must stop behind the white line? Now when you see these white lines and stop, you are not allowed to park on the line, you're not allowed to go past the line. So the correct answer will be C, your vehicle must stop behind the white line. Question 7. What does this sign mean? Again, we can see there's a taxi there. However, there's a red line going through that. And as I have said multiple times before, when there's a red line going through a sign, it is prohibiting you from doing something. So is it A, taxis are not allowed past the sign, B, trucks are not allowed here, or C, bicycles are not allowed here? The correct answer will be A, taxis are not allowed past the sign. Question 8. What does the sign mean? Again, it is a blue and white sign. And on South African roads, right, you will see many road signs with buses on it. However, there are 3 different types of buses that you will find. You will find minibuses, midi buses, and your regular length buses. This we can see is a midi bus. So what does the sign mean? Is it A, only midi buses can drive on this lane, B, only trucks can drive on this lane, or C, only sedans may drive on this lane? The correct answer will be A, only midi buses can drive on this lane. Question 9. What does this sign mean? Again, it is a blue and white sign. However, we can see 3 slanted white lines. So what does the sign mean? Is it A, there is an exit 300 meters ahead, B, there is an exit 200 meters ahead, or C, there is an exit 100 meters ahead? The correct answer will be A, there is an exit 300 meters ahead, as each slanted white line represents 100 meters. Question 10. What does this sign warn you of? So this is a green and white sign. There's a white line going directly ahead, and there's another white line coming out towards the right direction with a red line there. So what does the sign warn you of? Is it A, red bus to the right, B, you must move onto the left lane, or C, the road to the right ends? The correct answer will be C. We will now go on to rules of the road. So question 1. What should you do if your phone rings while you are driving? Is it A, answer it and tell your boss to call you back later? B, when it is safe, pull off to the side of the road and answer the call? Or C, you can only answer it if you are in a red car? Now the correct answer will be B. You cannot answer your phone while you are driving. You have to pull off to the side of the road when it is safe to do so and then answer the call. Question 2. What should you do if a traffic officer instructs you to disobey a road sign? Is it A, do exactly what he or she says, B, ignore whatever they say, or C, leave the area immediately? The correct answer will be A. You have to do exactly what they tell you to do, right? You have to follow their rules. Question 3. Are you allowed to drive your vehicle on a public road if it does not have a license plate? Is it A, no, B, yes, or C, only on weekends? Now, you are not allowed to drive your vehicle on a public road if it does not have a license plate. Therefore, the answer will be no. Question 4. Which of the following is true? Is it A, you are not allowed to drive bakkies on weekends, B, your vehicle cannot have a radio, or C, you must always use your indicator before changing lanes? Now the correct answer will be C. Question 5. Are you allowed to drive alone if you only have your learner's license? Is it A, yes, B, only if you are older than 21, or C, no? Correct answer will be no. You cannot drive a vehicle alone if you have your learner's license. You have to drive with someone who has their driver's license. That's the only time you can drive with your learner's license, right? So we've come to the end of the video. I want to thank each and every single one of you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you know of someone that will be writing their learner's license test soon, be sure to share it to them. And if you want more, subscribe. On to the next one. Take care. God bless.